Hey folks, in this video we're going to be talking about flipped class videos with Mr. Weingrad. So we got a few objectives here. Hopefully by the end of the video you can explain like how a flipped classroom works, some of the benefits of a flipped classroom, how you should interact with a flipped video lesson, and how we're going to use a thing called a mind map, which we'll introduce. So how a flipped classroom works. So a short lecture, less than 10 minutes ideally, is recorded, and then you watch that instead of having somebody lecture and talk at you in class. Yeah. And so that class time that's freed up with that's going to be used for guided practice instead of delivering notes. So instead of you taking home, say, a worksheet and working on that at home after a lecture in class and doing that by yourself without friends or your teacher to support you, instead, at home, you get those notes, and then the next day you come to class and you do that worksheet with your teacher and your peers around so that you can have guided practice instead of doing that work by yourself. Theoretically, it's much, much better. So some of the benefits. No lecture notes means we get exactly what I just said. More time for guided practice and activities. And so that really is just going to make our classroom a more effective learning space. And science activities are usually pretty cool, so having more time for those is pretty great. Another thing is these videos, you can watch them, you can pause them, you can rewatch them, etc. And so this means that you don't have to wait for other people to finish writing notes, or if the slides or the lecture keeps going and you miss notes, that's not an issue ever again. You can make sure you don't miss a thing in the lecture. And then also if you miss class, you don't miss lecture notes. You can still get the raw content delivered to you, and that's pretty great. And then a lot of people have embarrassment over asking questions in class. Well, that's not a problem during lecture, at least, because questions on the videos are submitted anonymously. I will still know who asked a question, but I'm never going to judge you for asking a question that maybe you think is silly. And then I can bring them up in class the next day. So any questions on the video, anything you don't understand can be addressed first thing the next day. So that's pretty rad. So how should you be interacting with these videos? Well, I want you to take notes the same way you would during a lecture. And to help with that, the slides like these are organized kind of like lecture notes in bullet points. And what I strongly recommend doing is not just copying down exactly what's on the screen, but take time to paraphrase or rephrase the words into your own words, because that's really the most effective way to take notes. In order for you to write something in your own words, you have to think about it enough to reformulate it, and that's way more thinking than just copying something down. That's actual learning taking place, and the other is just writing, and that's silly. So I'm going to check your notes periodically just to make sure that you are doing some sort of note taking and interacting with these videos. Again, it doesn't have to be the same format that I put them up, but I need you to in some way engage with these. And so when you're prompted by the videos to pause and try a problem, I want you to do that. Speaking of engagement. And so your attempt should go into your notes, and I'm also going to want to see those. And if you have any questions or you're confused during the video, make sure you write that down in your notes too. People sometimes complained to me in the past that afterwards they would try and remember their questions or confusion and couldn't. So if you feel confused at any point, just immediately jot down a note about it. And you can, as I said, have an opportunity to anonymously share that just privately with me through questions and feedback if you want. And so, yeah, write them down so you don't forget. Cool. So there's a Google form that goes with each video, and it's basically just where you're going to report your confusion and then answer some really short questions about the video. It's really a way and it also gives you an opportunity to provide feedback about the video. If you liked it, didn't like it, found parts of it confusing, think it could be improved, let me know. So these forums really should only take a few minutes. I think between 5 and 10 minutes. So that video plus the form ideally is a maximum of 20 minutes, but usually more in the 10 to 15 minute range. And so this counts for a grade. This is homework. This is what you get for homework instead of worksheets and silly stuff. So the mind map. What's a mind map? Well, it's just a fun name for a flow chart that shows the progression for each unit. But it's real cool. And so it may change in response to the class's needs. I'm preparing them, but they are not set in stone. And it has boxes in it, a flow chart that shows what we're going to do. And these boxes contain links to most of them a video lesson in Google form. Let's take a quick look at that. So here's that here. Here's that here. And so we've got different lessons, if you will, each with a link to a video, and each also has a link to a Google form. And so they're numbered to help show the overall progression, and arrows to help show the overall progression, also color-coded to indicate sort of like different areas or themes within the unit. So other things, that's not, we're not ready for that. So other boxes may contain lab reports, writing assignments, or digital quizzes, other things. So it's not just video lessons and Google Forms in there. And so, as I said, the numbers or the boxes have numbers to help indicate the overall flow of the unit. And so all of the videos and forms, and also for that matter, writing assignments, lab reports, all of that's going to get assigned through Google Classroom. So it's in the mind map, but when I want you to complete it, I will let you know through Google Classroom. So just some quick YouTube tips. I use YouTube to create these videos, and these are things that I find helpful. Not everybody knows that you can fast forward and slow down YouTube videos, and the subtitles, I'm told, work pretty well on my videos. So in case you weren't aware of how to use those features, you can go over to YouTube and click on this little settings dude, and under here, you can manipulate the speed, so you can slow down the video very slow or make it very fast. I like to do that. Particularly for instructional videos, because I find people talk slow and have a lot of unnecessary stuff to say. But under this area on settings, you can also change the subtitles and auto play and quality, but that doesn't really matter for our purposes. So that's the end of this video. I hope you feel like you understand what a flipped classroom is, why it's beneficial, really have somewhat of an idea of what you're supposed to do with these flipped videos, and also have seen the mind map and understand its purpose. Cool. So have a great rest of your life. Ta-ta.